Hey! Yo, everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review. And today we're going to be doing my comic load for the week, as well as news, updates, questions, answers, the Andrewcutter Battle Royale, and everything and anything that could fall in between. Not much of an intro for today, just going to jump right into it, and we're going to start where we always start, with a little bit of Batman in our life, with Batman issue number 36, Endgame, Part 2. And I have this in the Lego cover because it's Lego and Legos are awesome. Boy, I miss Legos from my childhood. I used to play Legos a countless amount of hours. And then I sold all but one thing that I created. I was so upset that I did that. I don't know why I did that. It was some yard sale. But that's neither here nor there. Endgame Part 2. So it's Batman versus the Justice League in Part 1. Now it's Batman versus Superman in this part. And boy, oh boy, what a drag-out fight it is. Basically, it's that. Superman versus Batman. Batman has his Justice League Buster armor, and he uses every trick he has in the book to take out Superman. While this is also going on, Joker reveals himself. Oh yes, the Joker is back. And he shows that he's done being friends with Batman. He's done with his cat and mouse game, and he just wants to end it all because Batman has become boring to him. So, who will come out on top? The Man of Steel or the Dark Knight? Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good. What I particularly like about this issue is all the fun stuff that Batman has to take on Superman. In particular, he has Red Sun brass knuckles. Yes, brass knuckles that literally have gems in them that duplicate the effect of red sun radiation, which, if anyone knows, weakens Superman. It takes away his powers, for lack of a better term. Kryptonite hurts him. Red Sun just basically nulls and voids his power. But not just that, but all the various arrays of stuff. And at the end, the dialogue that Scott Snyder does is very well. Batman says to himself, everyone always asks, who would win in a fight? Batman versus Superman. And at the end of the day, it's neither of us. Joker returning is creepy as all hell, and I do like the new take that they're taking on the Joker, is that he's done with Batman. He wants to kill the Dark Knight and move on. And I think that's a good thing with the Joker. Joker shouldn't be as obsessed with the Batman as he normally is. Yes, at times it works out for the character, especially with a story like Death of the Family, but at the same time, what happens when Joker gets bored with Batman? What is he going to do? Is it only Batman he wants to play around with? I like to think of the Joker as some sick, twisted, murderous artist that works on one particular project and then moves on to her next. On a whole, this issue does a fantastic job with the fight versus Batman versus Superman, and in addition to that, with the Joker. The only thing I could say that I didn't like, and spoiler alert, Batman has basically kryptonite gum, which is silly. He should have just pulled out his kryptonite ring. But for the most part, it was handled very well. 5 out of 5. Endgame is continuing to be a thrilling story, and I'm curious on where we're going to go with the Joker from here. Moving on to Batman Eternal. So basically this is Batman versus Hush with a little spoiler in between. But don't worry, there won't be too many spoilers in this issue. Hush is basically trying to find something that Batman has. Actually, a lot of some things that Batman has. See, Batman has bunkers all throughout Gotham, and these bunkers have all his toys and tricks and all the fun stuff that he uses to fight crime. And, well, Hush is looking for it. At the same time, spoiler gets it caught in between the fight between Hush and Batman. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. When I opened the second page and I saw Jason Fabok come back as the artist, I said, America, fuck yeah. I literally said that. I don't know why, but Jason coming back as the artist is great. He does fantastic work on Batman, particularly with his detective comic run, but it's great to see him back on as artist, and the fight between Hush and Batman is great. And you know what the good thing about the fight is it's not just Batman being Batman. Hush gets some punches in too, and he shows why he's such a formidable enemy, even though he's kind of just a doctor. Stephanie Brown is being utilized for the most part very well, and the twist at the end is pretty fun, or the cliffhanger at the end. I don't know if I should say twist, but the cliffhanger is pretty fun. The issue was handled very well. I don't think I have any complaints about it. The only complaint I have is I want more. Also, a 5 out of 5. Rounding out the Bat books this week is Batgirl, issue number 36. So Batgirl needs to get her computer fixed or all her information downloaded so that she can deal with her thesis paper or whatever project she's doing. But at the same time, she has to fight bad guys. Oh, college life, being able to manage millions of things at once. Yeah, I didn't really have to do that in college. But the story itself is handled fantastically here. Basically, she has to take on motorcycle katana wielding gang members. They're not necessarily bad people, but they are out to kill her, so I guess they are bad people. The art in this is great. The dialogue is handled very well, and I really like the story and how it's fun and whimsical. At the same time, though, Batgirl does suffer from one thing, and it suffers from too much dialogue. The dialogue is great, but at points there's just so much of it that it's just it gets overbearing. I mean, look at how much dialogue we have just on this page alone. Dialogue is great. It makes the story, but at the same time, it can drain you, especially when you're reading this late at night like I was. 4 out of 5. Moving on to all new Captain America #1. So the Falcon has become Captain America. So for now on, I'm just going to refer to him as Cap because for the most part, he's Cap. And then, weirdly enough, I'm not going to refer to Steve Rogers as Cap. But anyways, I'm pretty excited about this comic series. I'm a big Captain America fan, but how they're moving the mantle is actually handled pretty well. Steve Rogers can't be Captain America anymore. It's not that he doesn't want to, but for whatever reason he can't. And at the same time, if this doesn't work out, they can easily move the mantle back to Captain America. It's comics. People die all the time, come back to life. People lose the mantle and get it back. I mean, please. It's going to happen eventually, but why not enjoy the Falcon as Captain America right now? And everything about this issue screams badassery, because right away they have to establish we got a new Captain America, he has to be a badass. Plain, flat, and simple. And from the costume to the action to the overall adventure, it is a badass issue. The only thing I could say that I don't like about this is just the top part of the new Captain America costume. Everything else, from here on down, looks awesome. But I know they're trying to keep kind of a falconish look to it, but I don't like the mask. I've never been a fan of the mask. But for the most part, it is a great looking comic. The art is handled very well. It's very action oriented art. And the great thing about this Captain America that I was a little worried about, but they address it well, is he's not a super soldier. He's a normal man, could fly with technology wings, but he's a normal man and he's taking up this mantle. This is a big fucking shoes to fill. This is Steve Rogers, super soldier, kick ass, take names, America, fuck yeah. And the Falcon does it very well. As the new Captain America, he shows himself that he is a badass, but he's not quite, super soldier, but he still can kick ass with the best of them. It's going to be interesting to see him kind of fill in that void in the Avengers because, well, everyone is changing on the Avengers, and Captain America was the leader of the Avengers. Does that mean the new Captain America will be the leader? We'll see. But this is a 5 out of 5. A great start to a new series, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Sorry about that, got a phone call. Moving on to Green Lantern Corps issue number 36. So, the new guards are attacking the Star Sapphires, and John Stewart is going out to help them, but he's not particularly happy with the Star Sapphires because of what they did to him, and fatality, and just on a whole, how they're screwing with his life. However, John Stewart is a complete badass, and he will do whatever he takes to defend, well, all the Lantern Corps from the new guards, because the new guards are kind of dicks. And there's a little bit of a twist at the end. Actually, not a little, a huge twist of what happens to our good friend John Stewart. On a whole, this issue was fantastic. What I particularly like about it is it was well paced, and Van Jetson does a very good job at making John Stewart not only a badass but a layered character. The one thing about John Stewart I never liked is, although he had a good personality to him, he didn't have many layers to his personality. With this, we get to see, not only his badassery, but how he can be angry and upset and sad and everything all at once. So I really do like that, and this issue gets a 5 out of 5. Red Sonja issue number, what are we at right now? 13. Number one's Throw Me Off. So this issue is Sonja basically becoming the unforgiving. Sonja goes up against a sorcerer who she cuts off his hand and proceeds to kill him, and he curses her at the end, making her unable to forgive people. Sounds kind of bad, doesn't it? Well, it is. Sonja then finds out that one of the murderers of her family is still alive, and she needs to go get him. Will Sonja be able to pull this off, or will her unforgiving nature be the thing that destroys her? Uh, Red Sonja is just always so good. I love this comic. Great sword and sorceryness, great dialogue, great art. Everything about this is great. And the great thing about it that the other Red Sonja comic that kind of stopped doing after the soft reboot that it had is that it stopped acknowledging continuity. But the great thing about this is that it still acknowledges continuity. So yeah, it still acknowledges the stories beforehand. 5 out of 5. A lot of 5 out of 5s today. Well, that's going to change. Constantine, issue number 19. Constantine's on Earth 2, and he's running, and he's looking. And that's about all that's happening. Ray Fox does a great job with the character, but I just am not digging the Earth 2 story that's going on. I felt as though the character dialogue is good in this, but he's just running the whole entire issue. Um, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. Solid issue, but not solid enough. Captain America and the Mighty Avengers issue number 1. So, I'm picking this up mainly because it says Captain America in it, and I'm a sucker for Cap. It's my favorite Marvel character. And the Mighty Avengers, I believe, was a comic beforehand that was more street level Avengers. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. Basically, Captain America comes in here being all badassery and basically says that he needs to rebuild the Avengers and he needs to build it up with people that really deserve to be Avengers. Not everyone should be an Avenger. So that's basically Cap's mission in this. I don't know if Cap's acting like this because of the axis of evil that went on, but that's something I'll definitely address in this. Good is I thought as though the action was pretty good. It definitely has a lot of Captain America in it, which it feels a continuation of the Captain America comic that we just read. Not necessary to read, in no way connected, but it feels a little bit like a continuation. And I thought the characters they have lined up, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, She-Hulk, so on and so forth, if they join the Mighty Avengers, I think it'll be a good team. The bad is that there wasn't much of the actual Avengers in this, or the Mighty Avengers. And in addition to that, Captain America seemed like kind of a dick, and I don't know if that's something that came out of Axis. I don't read Marvel crossovers. I know, and we'll see later on, that Captain America is a bit of a dick now, but not Captain America, uh, Iron Man, but I don't know if Captain America has become a dick, so a lot of dicks flying around. On the whole, this was a solid issue. I will give it a 3.5 out of 5. I'm curious to see where it's going to go from here, and I will at least pick up issue 2. Suicide Squad, issue number 4. This is rounding out the first story arc. We find as though Deathstroke doesn't give a shit about the team, and that basically it's going to revert back to Amanda Waller's control. Yeah, the other dude, I forget his name, person I don't care about, that sucks. Yeah, he does want to control the Suicide Squad, but Amanda Waller is going to take all that power back, or at least a good chunk of it. And we're really going to see what this Suicide Squad team is going to be all about. Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Good, great pacing, a lot of fun. Characters are enjoyable. Bad. I felt as though all the new characters, with the exception of Black Manta that they introduced, are not going to be continuing on with. I was pumped when I heard Deathstroke was going to be part of the Suicide Squad. The fact he's not in it anymore kind of sucks. Sorry, spoiler. And the fact that other characters aren't going to be in it anymore kind of sucks. Were they just for the first issue? I don't know. But the team itself is running out to be pretty good. I don't mind if it's just Black Manta, Harley Quinn, and Deadshot. So, for the most part, this is a good issue. I'll give it also a 3.5 out of 5. I really would have liked it if that team stayed with Deathstroke on it. But at the same time, if Deathstroke's on it, what's the point of everyone else? I know it sounds silly, but Deathstroke basically is a Swiss Army knife of badassery. Which is issue number 2, Scott Snyder's little image run that he's doing on here, with creepy littleness and horror and stuff. That's something that Scott Snyder likes to do, is just plain flat out horror. And more horror in this. Basically, the girl in this, whose name is, I think, Sale. I could be wrong. I'm still learning stuff here. She wants to confront the monsters that live in the woods that sucking people up through holes, and she has a little bubble on her neck, similar to that. Yeah, this is great stuff. I don't want to reveal too much of the story because it'll take away from its suspense and its craziness, but pick it up. 4 out of 5. Superior Iron Man, issue number 1. Be superior. And when I heard about this comic, I thought it was silly. You're doing Superior Spider-Man with Iron Man. Why? That's stupid. Is superior going to be a word we're throwing around a lot? But here's the thing. Here's the thing. The concept of this is, I guess, during Axis, Iron Man got hit by something that made him kind of villainish, and in this, he's kind of a full-on dick. Not just a pseudo dick that Iron Man could be. He's a full-on dick, and you know what? I like it. The issue does a good job at the start to kind of bring in the new tone of the comic. It establishes how Tony's going to be acting. The great thing about this is you don't need to know anything about the previous crossover to enjoy this. Bad is that there's a lot of things in here that I don't understand. I know Extremis is something that's been around in Iron Man for a while, but if you don't know anything about Iron Man, you're not going to know much about Extremis. And I have a basic gist, but it's still, I had to go online and be like, what the fuck is Extremis? But yeah, other than that, it's a solid issue, which is a great start to a new comic, and I'm curious to see where it goes from here. Superior Iron Man. 4.5 out of 5. World's End Earth 2. This is, again, continuing our weekly series. It's Flash versus Famine, and Batman basically trying to save Huntress. That's the gist of it. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. It has some fun stuff, some unnecessary twist, and again, it looks like it's going to be more and more the downfall of Earth 2, which is sad because I like Earth 2. I don't think the fucking planet should be destroyed. Uh, New 52, Future's End, 28, the cover, Batman versus Batman Beyond. Right away, you're thinking, oh my god, that's going to be awesome. This issue is decent, but at the same time, most of it is just 50 Sue. Like, I'm going to count right now. Ready? Here we go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of Batman versus Batman Beyond. And that's about it. Out of the whole entire comic. The majority is just 50 Sue bitching about Slade. So yeah, 2.5 out of 5. Could have done better. She-Hulk, issue number 10. A lot of Marvel going around this week. I think I have 4 total titles. This is concluding the case of She-Hulk versus Matt Murdock for the name of Captain America. The good stuff about this, the ending was really fun. The art is continuing to be unique in its tone and it's grown on me, so I kind of like it. And I think it's good that they're embracing the court case aspect of She-Hulk without becoming overly silly like the Dan Slott run did. Although the Dan Slott run was pretty fun, it did have a silliness in there. Bad is that I just don't care about this case, even though it has to do with Captain America. I really didn't care. I was glazing over some of the backstory, and this is another issue that comes to it. Too much dialogue in the backstories. Everything could have been summarized in less issues, less panels, and less pages. So it could have been condensed a lot easier. I would like to see more action from She-Hulk. I know it's a completely different comic, which focuses on her being a lawyer, but action's important too. So for the most part, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. World's Finest, Superman Batman. It looks like the title is being changed, and I'm surprised. I thought this title was going to be canceled, but I'm glad it's still around. We get to see how Wonder Woman basically influenced Batman and Superman's life on Earth 2, which is pretty darn cool. Um, I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because it's basically Wonder Woman saving Superman and Batman in their own respective ways. But not just that, we get to see how she also influences Lois Lane and how laying the seeds for what Lois will become. This issue was very fun. I recommend getting it. It's a good standalone issue too. It's a decent jumping on point. This issue and last issue, they're telling about the secret origins of Earth 2 Batman and Superman, which is eyebrow raising because they're dead. What's the point of putting all this effort in? Is it to give layers to the world of Earth 2? Or is there something going on with Batman and Superman from Earth 2? We'll see. We'll pick it up. And last comic this week will be Justice League United. It's basically continuing what was happening beforehand from the annual. Half of the Justice League is in space fighting Hawkman and Biff. The other half of the Justice League is fighting with the Legion. And that's the basic gist. Um, Although at the end we get to see the Legion Lost return. The name is actually called the Legion Lost. That was just a title. Solid issue, 3 out of 5. I can't really give too much good or bad. It's just more of the same. So that said, the Andrewcutter pick of the week goes to Batman. We all know that was going to happen because it's Batman, and it was a solid issue. So good. So with that said, I'm going to pause this for a second. Then we're going to go into the Andrewcutter Battle Royale. Okay, on to the Andrewcutter Battle Royale for the week. For those that don't know, it's basically me sitting down, talking about 2 fictional characters, mashing them together, talk about their strengths, weaknesses, and who would win in a fight. It's completely 100% all opinionated, but who doesn't love doing who would win in fights? Batman versus Scorpion, Albert Wesker versus Spider-Man. Who wouldn't love to see those fights and determine who would win? And this time we have a suggestion from one of you guys, Mr. Shiminos, and I hope I said that correct, suggested Superman versus Silver Surfer. So let's get at it. Superman and Silver Surfer are both respectively some of the most powerful individuals in their universes. They are incredibly cosmic, almost god-level powered individuals. So the question is, who would win in a fight? Because their power sources come from different things, and although they relatively have some similar strengths, they do have some differences. Let's start things off with Superman. Superman, the Man of Steel, quite arguably the most recognized and most powerful superhero to date. Superman has many different things to his power set. He has super strength, with his base strength being around 100 tons. He has super speed, which he can be going at the speed of light. Super reactive reflexes. Super stamina. He has flight, super hearing, super smell. He can manipulate his vocal cords to do various different sonic booms. He has super breath. He has heat vision. Superman has super healing and fast super healing. He puts someone like Wolverine to shame. Superman is also invulnerable. He can take a hit and keep on kicking. And Superman has longevity. He can sustain the treacherousness of space. And in addition to that, Superman is a living solar battery. Superman brings in yellow sun radiations, which makes him indefinite in his powers. Yes, Superman's base strength may be 100 tons, but a minute up in the sun, just basking in his warmness like an iguana, and he can quadruple that power. Just imagine if he spent an hour in the sun, how strong he could be. Superman is limitless in his abilities, and that's what makes Superman so dangerous. The fact that he has no breaking point. He has no max point. He has no limit to break per Final Fantasy. Superman can be as strong as he needs to whenever he needs to. Superman does have some vulnerabilities. He is vulnerable to magic attacks. The key word is vulnerable, not weak. Superman is as vulnerable as any other individual to magic attacks, but he is not weaker to magic attacks like someone else. For example, if someone threw a magic fireball at Superman, it would do as much damage to him as it would do to Batman. It doesn't do more, it just does as much. So vulnerability is different from weaknesses. He's also vulnerable to internal attacks. Superman may have a fantastic immune system, but if you get inside him, you can do a lot of damage. As seen with various stories back in the early 90s, and even more recent stories like Trinity War. Last thing to note for Superman is he's an exceptional hand-to-hand combatant. While nowhere near as good as some of the top dogs of the DC universe like Batman, um, Sensei, Lady Shiva, Bronze Tiger, Superman is still more than just a beat stick. He has been trained by 3 of the greatest fighters on the DCU. He has had training from Batman, from Wonder Woman, and from Ted Grant, Wildcat. So he is a skilled hand-to-hand combatant when needed. Superman's greatest strength is going to be his sheer power and his diversity. He has tons of different speed, strength, and abilities to use, and he is a skilled fighter at that. So better watch out because the Man of Steel is coming for you. But it's not like he has an easy opponent to go up against. The Silver Surfer is the Herald of Galactus, and with that, he gets all the powers and abilities that the Herald should have. He has also super strength, speed, and invulnerability, all at the base level that Superman has. The base level strength that Silver Surfer has is also 100 tons. And like Superman, depending on how much he wants to increase his power, he can do so and make himself stronger if needed. He also has the ability of energy absorption and manipulation as well as matter manipulation. He can literally absorb energy attacks and reroute them or use them in different ways. He can take simple matter and reconstruct it, making certain weapons absolutely null and void. Silver Surfer also has that invulnerability. His skin is literally fucking armor, and he can take the treacherousness of space. He has stamina equal to that of a god. He can basically keep fighting no matter what. It takes a lot for him to get weakened. And he also have his Silver Surfboard, which has various different abilities to it. Silver Surfer is also a pretty intellectual individual too. While Superman has a supercomputer for a brain, and that's something that people again have to realize that Superman is incredibly smart. He may not be as learned as Mr. Fantastic or as Batman. Superman's brain is a supercomputer. On the opposite end, Silver Surfer was once a scientist, and with that, he is an incredibly deductive and smart individual, making him one of the more deadly people to fight because, well, he can think around you if necessary. So, the question is this: who would win in a fight? Well, the fight would plan out like this: Silver Surfer and Superman baseline are pretty much similar in strength and speed and durability. They have godlike abilities. Silver Surfer automatically nulls out any of the energy maneuvers that Superman can do. Heat vision and super breath is useless because, well, he's Silver Surfer. He can absorb that shit. He can basically manipulate and change it if he needs to. Throw it back at Superman if he has to. But at the same time, it really comes down to this: how powerful can they get? Superman and Silver Surfer both can increase their powers tenfold if necessary. Here's the big difference: Superman needs time to increase his power. He needs to soak up the yellow light. While at the same time, Silver Surfer can detrimentally hurt himself if he keeps on pushing himself to a limit. And there is a limit that Silver Surfer can go. So, if they can go even stronger, but have disadvantages to it, what does it come down to? What does it really come down to? And I think it comes down to this: is how keen of fighters they are. Superman is a more skilled fighter and probably thinks on his feet better. In the long run, maybe Silver Surfer might be able to outthink Superman if he had prep time, or outfight him if he had prep time. But in a head-to-head collision, Superman's reaction, adaptation, and just overall wit and skill, I believe would trump Silver Surfer. So, if Superman became strong enough, which he can, and if Superman is more skilled, which he is, I believe he would be able to outclass and outmaneuver Silver Surfer with his advantages. It would be a harrowing close fight, though, because although Superman is quite possibly the strongest of all comic book individuals and has no limit, to obtain that no limit, he needs to spend time in that yellow sun, and I'm pretty sure Silver Surfer wouldn't allow him to do that. So, head to head, I will give this match to Superman, but barely. So that is the Andrewcutter Battle Royale for the week. Like I said, if you want to, you can participate in the Battle Royale by giving suggestions. I'm always open for suggestions. All you have to do is post in the comments below. Say, hey, Andrew, I would like to see Catwoman versus Black Cat. And just have those two fight. Or, Andrew, I would really like to see Ricky Lake take on Jenny Jones. Shit, fine. I will do Ricky Lake versus Jenny Jones. It's just not limited to comic book characters. It can be anything. That said, let's do our comments for the week, or our questions and answers, and we have a couple of them. So hopefully my computer will work because it's freezing up on me right now. Let's start things off with Mr. Nick Lenz. Hey Andrew, 5 questions for you. First, have you read any of Peter David's stuff? I have. I just can't off the top of my head think of what. He's currently writing Spider-Man 2099 and all new X-Force, uh, both of which I don't read. Both are really good stories. You should try them out. Second, are you a fan of X-Woman Storm? The X-Woman Storm. I do like Storm a lot. I think Storm is underutilized, and there's a lot of potential for the character that is not tapped. I know she has her own comic now, and I want to read it, but I also have a budget. Third, why do you think that Green Arrow hasn't had an annual in 14 years? I don't know, to be honest. That's a good question. I'm pretty sure with the popularity of the show and how the comic is doing, it will get an annual soon. Fourth, what are your views on Black Panther? I don't know really too much about Black Panther. From what I hear, he is a total badass, and I would be interested in reading his comic. He sounds like a mix of Batman, Deathstroke, and yeah, Bronze Tiger. Put all of them together. Just an absolute fast, powerful individual who's not afraid to using augmentations. Again, the character isn't number one on my list of stuff to read, but I would be interested to get into him. I don't think he has a comic out right now. I think he's on Team Secret Avengers, maybe. But I don't know. And what do you think of Marvel's movie lineup for Phase 3? I would have to review it. I am a little bit biased towards DC stuff, so I probably don't care that much about the movie lineup for Marvel, but I would have to review it to tell you. Kira Whack, we need a tour of the room. Looks like it's coming together. I'm late to the party, but I just started watching Walking Dead and love it. Are you a fan? I have not watched The Walking Dead. I feel as though I need to read the comic first before I watch a show, but I'm tempted to just go and watch a show. It's not number one on the list of things to do. I have a lot of other things, but I would be tempted. I might want to watch Breaking Bad before watching Walking Dead. I haven't watched Breaking Bad yet. And yes, the room is coming together, but it still has a lot of ways to go before I do a video of it. And I also have to figure out exactly how I'm going to do the video because my camera on this computer does not do it justice, and my phone does it justice, but I can't transfer the data from my phone to my computer because I'm not smart enough. Green Arrow Hunter, hey Andrew, 2 questions for you. First, should Batman create his own martial arts style, the way of the bat? And do you think that Dawn of Justice is going to end with Superman and Batman about to punch each other out when they hear the song of the Eye of the Tiger? Um, Battle Royale suggestion: the Mutant Gang from DC versus the Purple Dragons. Interesting suggestion. I'll take that in mind. First, with Batman creating his martial arts style, no, I think the fun thing about Batman is the fact that he uses all martial arts. Is that he is that adaptive. He is a master at all known martial arts, which is incredibly improbable to do, but not impossible. But it's comic books, so who gives a shit? But no, I like him just being adaptive and doing his own thing. I don't want him to do like the wave the spider like Spider-Man has. And do I think Dawn of Justice is going to end with Batman and Superman punching each other out and we hear the Tiger? That would be epic if it did happen. No, I think it's going to end with the rest of the Justice League just kind of showing up. Blue Lantern in 2814. Felicity started off in the comics. She was Ronnie Raymond's stepmother or something. Yeah, but the Felicity I'm talking about is the Felicity from the show. They're two completely separate characters. I mean, they're portrayed differently and they're from different universes. And yeah, we're adapting the Felicity from the show, not Felicity that was Ronnie's stepmother. Derek Lucari, I hope I said that correct. Have you been researching? I've been researching this question for a quote sometime, but still haven't found a definite answer. Do you consider Batman Through the Looking Glass canon, or an Elseworld, or just one of those one and done tales with no chronological significance? I think it's more of a one and done tale than anything. Um, it's kind of all up in the air because Batman continuity is kind of in flux with the New 52 and how things are done with that. Some things are canon, some things are not canon. It's kind of up in the air. I would say it's more of a one and done story. I know it's supposed to be Mad Hatter and Wonderland-ish. I wouldn't put too much value in putting it in continuity, but at the same time, you could probably fit it in continuity somewhere as a random Batman adventure. So if that helps, I think it was more supposed to be just a one and done. So let's move on. Last one is all things super. The Flash is at night because it's easier to conceive special effects in the dark. In the day, you get all the details and CGI looks less convincing. I did not know that. Thank you very much. I guess that is the reason why it is done at night. So that is the comments and the questions for the day. I'm going to end this review here. If you have any questions, I'll post them down below. If you want to know where I get my comics from, I get it from Comically Speaking in North Reading, or no, in Reading. So check it out. Awesome place. You can always get the best value there, and you can always find what you need there. This is Andrew saying, peace out.